First of all, guys, thank you for being with us today. And big week for you. How was the weekend in Toronto in the Hall of Fame?
It was great. We had a lot of family and friends there, and obviously some former teammates and opponents and colleagues. And yeah, it was so great to spend some time with them. And the Hall of Fame does a great job with all the activities. And we played a game on Sunday, the Legends Classic, which was fun too. Got to play against Tamus and Bieksa and Luongo and the other team. So it was pretty awesome.
What does it represent to be on the same ice and a guy like Matt Sandin? You know, he must have been like a guy you looked up to during your career and when you were younger. Was it a special moment to spend it with him?
Yeah, no, for sure. It's growing up in Sweden. Like you don't really dream about the NHL. You dream about the playing for the Swedish national team, and he was so successful when we grew up. He won the World Championships and the all those tournaments. So and then we got a chance to play with him here in Vancouver in 2009, I think it was, and just to be around him here for half a year, it was that was pretty special too. So. And you can see how big it was in Toronto. That's I mean he's maybe their most favorite player in the market. So that was it was a great game.
So what was you guy the most nervous about? Was it the speech or induction?
The speech, 100%. It's I've never been that nervous in my life. I think.
Oh yeah.
That was a great speech though, because you guys made a lot of people laugh, and it made me think about a question. Like growing up, was there any time where you were thinking that one of you guys weren't gonna make it to the highest level? Like, were you always both at the same time as good, or you know?
The only difference was probably when we were 16 playing for Modo in Sweden. Like I got a chance to play with the Swedish Elite League team, and Henrik was still playing with the junior team. So it was a season there where I maybe got some more playing time with the senior team, if I put it that way. And Henrik was still with the juniors. But I mean, I think we always been kind of the same kind of players and on the same level. But that was one time where maybe there was a difference.
Was it the plan to play in North America all the time, or have you been thinking about staying in Europe when you were younger?
No, I think that the plan was well. The plan we when we grew up, we never really, like I said, we didn't dream about the NHL. They barely showed any NHL games in Sweden when we were the years before our draft. It was more about the Swedish national team and playing pro in Sweden. But we knew that because we were from the same hometown as Marcus Naslund, Peter Forsberg, a lot of NHL players. We knew that there was a chance to play over here. So when you turn 17, 18, I think that's when you start dreaming about playing in the NHL. But there were so many ifs. We didn't know where we would get drafted. We thought for sure we're going to be drafted by different teams. So and no one knew what would happen then if we would have the success that we had.
What makes that city so good of getting young players to play in the NHL? You name Naslund and guys like that.
Olvik, yeah.
What
Yeah,
makes
I played there. I think it's because there's nothing else to do than play hockey.
Yeah, you were there for sure. No,
That's probably half.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
We have an academy where we bring in players from not only from our hometown but from the province and around Sweden. So you go there to school and you play hockey on the side when you're 16. So we get a lot of good young players there, and then I think Marcus and Peter, they were the first players that managed to get drafted and play in the NHL. And after that, I think all the young guys realized that there was a chance of making it, even from a small town like that. And I think Lappi, as you said, there's nothing else to do than to play hockey. It's such a small city, and there's outdoors rinks at every school. So after school you would spend hours playing hockey with your friends. So it's you get a lot of free practice time that way.
Why do you think the Swedish program became so powerful? Like, like over the years, there's so many Swedes in the NHL, and guys are playing unbelievable. They win Stanley Cups. What has changed over there when you talk about growing the hockey world?
I think it's just like Henrik mentioned. Players come over here to the NHL, and young kids look up to them. They want to do the same thing. I think it's like any other sport. If you have that, I think you're just gonna feed players all the time. And I think the youth hockey is very well run over there. I think you have good coaches. They focus on the right things. The Swedish Hockey Federation does a good job as well. And it's just, I mean, success feeds success, I think. So I think that's the main thing.
And when
another thing too, another thing too is that I think we keep a lot of players in the program until they're 16, 17. It's not like, I feel like over here, players get pushed to the side if you're not good enough. We have a good, we keep a lot of players in the program, and then when they're 16, 17, guys that were not maybe good when they're 12, now they still have a chance to make it, because even though they get better when they're later on in their youth career. So I think that's a difference from maybe Canada.
And then when you came to North America and get drafted in 1999, was there a deal on the table, or you guys found out at the draft that you were going to the same team?
5 minutes before the draft, before they announced it, pretty much, Brian Burke came over and told us that they were going to draft us. So we heard some rumblings the days before, but I mean, there was a lot of things that needed to happen for us to get drafted by the same team. So a lot of people were involved, and obviously Brian Burke came through. So it was great for the two of us, but also for our families, of course. Mom and Dad didn't have to travel to different cities.
It's easier. And now we need to ask the real questions. Why were you picked second instead of third, Daniel?
that you know why. I'm the better player.
Yeah, two great players. We were talking about youth hockey and the young guys and all that in Sweden. At one point, I was surprised to read that you were playing center, and you decided to switch to wing. Was it just to play with your brother, or just because for you it was preferable to play on the wing?
So we play center until we were 12 years old. At that time, we got moved up one age level, so we played with the guys that were 1 year older, and they only needed one centerman. So that coach picked Henrik to be the centerman and turned me into a winger. So that's when it happened. And then from that day, we've been on the same line.
Were you guys the same when you were younger? Like we see you every face-off doing trick plays and everything like that. Did it start when you were like 14?
Yeah, I think it did. I think we really enjoyed that part of the game where you can use, like we talked about, and Lappy, like that's the only time in a game where you know what the other team is going to do. Like you can do like a pre-scout, and you know how they're gonna where they're gonna be on the face-off, and that's where you can use that to your advantage. So it's a part of the game where we've always enjoyed, and we were never the strongest guys, so we needed to find the spots in a game where we can use things to our advantage.
How many glass of wine when you guys decide to do the trick play on the icing play? You guys were like the first one to do it. It's like family party, or
yeah, I don't know how they came up. I have no clue where we got that from, or Danny. I don't know if you remember.
I don't know either, but
it's a damn good play. I'll tell you that right now. Was there a point in your career one of you felt pressure, because always having the brother next to you that's performing, like let's say Guillaume and we don't have the same schedule. I want to go to the gym. He doesn't want to go to the gym. But when you look at your brother and he's there early and he works hard, it's kind of a lot of pressure for a full lifetime,
I think it's a very good point, because that's how our life has been. Like summertime, we went to the gym. We did the same thing week after week, and sometimes you don't want to do that, but because your brother is there, you have to show up, right? So yeah. I think it forced us a lot of times to maybe not take a day off. You went in even though you were tired or had other plans with the family, but you knew that, okay, I better go in and do this for 2 hours, and then I can go on with my day, because I knew Henrik was going to be there. And I think it has helped us a lot, because it's so easy, I think, when you're by yourself, that maybe you're tired on a Wednesday morning, that, okay, I'm gonna take the day off, and then all of a sudden it becomes 2 days off, and it just snowballs from there.
Yeah. Who you guys feel was the most helpful coach during your career?
Uh, well, the guy we had in Sweden when we came up, we were only 16, and we had a really experienced coach who'd been around in Sweden for a lot of years. It was an older guy, and we had a good team back there playing for Modo at the time. Sammy Paulson, who he played over here for a lot of years. Per Svartvadet played in Atlanta for a couple of years. They were our two top centermen. So it wasn't a given that we were going to play professional in Sweden when we were 16, 17. But he really gave us a chance, and he played us in the power play. He played us in the PK. A lot of big minutes back there at that age, and I think that really propelled us to get better quicker than we would have otherwise. Over here, I think, well, we talked about Mark Crawford, who was really hard on us our first couple of years, and I think he made us realize what it takes to become professionals. And then AV, like you had an AV Tulapi, and he believed in us. I mean, he gave us the chance to become first liners and gave us every opportunity to have a chance in this league. So that's I think those are the three coaches that I think meant the most to us.
Because I remember it wasn't easy at the beginning of your careers, right? Everybody was expecting the Twins. They're coming in. I remember at one point you guys were booed, and now that you're at the Hall of Fame, we can laugh about it. But it must have been tough back then. You know, like you come from Sweden, Canada. Everybody have high expectation, and you get booed. How did you react back then? Like, was it easier to live that moment with a brother, or it was still very hard?
Yeah, first of all, like back in Sweden, we had about one media guy after every game, so it was media wasn't that hard. They were never there during practice. It was only games, and it was one of them. So coming over here, like all of a sudden you walk into the Canucks locker room, and after every practice there's like 15 people there at least, and after games there's twice as much. So that was tough, and all the radio shows, paper, TV, like it was mind-blowing to us, the attention that the Canucks got from media and fans too. So obviously tough early on. Expectations were high, like you said. I think being the two of us really helped, because we can talk about everything, like tough times, good times.
Yeah.
Because even when things are going well, like you want to keep the other guy like down to earth and humble, and don't let him get out of hands. So I think through tough times and good times, I think it was good there was two of us.
What was the turning point, you think? Why did you guys come the next year or a year, 2 years after, and you just start performing?
I think it was going back, lockout 2004, 04 or 05, going back to Sweden, playing there. We got stronger. We put down a lot of work to get stronger. And when we came back after that, we were able to play our game, which was cycling the puck in the corner, long spending a lot of time in the offensive zone. I think our first 2 or 3 years, we weren't able to do that because we weren't strong enough. That was the bottom line. So I think that was a huge couple of years for us.
What quality of Alex Burrows make him perfect fit for you guys?
Well, not his looks, that's for sure.
We could have been the ugliest line. No, Burr was. I mean, and you know, like he's such a smart player. I think he was able to adapt to any linemate he played with, and I still remember like when he came up, his first few games, like you realize right away how smart he was, and our first period playing with him, we realized that this is going to be our linemate for a long time, because I think he did all the little things that you need from your linemate, and those were the best years as players playing with him.
It's good because you guys analyze the game a lot. I didn't play on your line very much, but just looking how many times you talk with the board in the dressing room and all that, seems like you're really into it with the mental aspect of the game. And you know, now you guys, I think, do a little bit of work on that for the Canucks, helping young guys. And what do you want to teach these young guys? Because I feel like in the NHL now, we talk about it a lot on TV in Montreal. We're trying to push the young guys into the NHL so fast. You know, we just want them to play. They're 18, they're big, they're strong, like a guy like Slafkovsky in Montreal. But are they really ready when they're 18 to play in the NHL?
Yeah, I think that's our main point. I think that's why we were successful. Our biggest reason why we were successful, we were mentally ready for every game, and it's easy. It's tough now when you're a young guy because you get thrown in, you're given ice time early on. You're gonna make money way quicker than we did because it's teams have to sign you quicker before you're actually shown really what you're capable of, and that's it's not easy for young guys coming in now to learn what it takes to win because it's when we came in it was all about team. I think now it's uh, young players. They've been to academies. There's a lot of skills coaches out there. So you're more ready to play, but I'm not sure that you're more ready to understand what it takes to win. And that's I think the biggest challenge for all young guys coming in to the league right now.
How do you adjust when, like we have Caulfield and Suzuki here in Montreal? Now people are waiting for them. They are on the board and the other team's room. How do you guys prepare, like when teams know after a few years what you're going to do on face-off or a few trick plays you guys have? How do you adjust or change the game a little bit?
That's what Lappy brought up. Like when we play with Burr, like we would talk a lot before games and during games, but also knowing that we had prepared probably better than anyone else. Like that's why you do all the work in the summertime. Why you work hard in the gym during the season because you know you're well prepared going into games and you've done everything you can to be successful. That gives you confidence in my mind. And in the end, if you do all the things, I think what the opponent does doesn't really matter because you're gonna be successful anyways.
From day one when you guys came, what did you change towards during the time you were there in the NHL? What was the biggest adjustment? Some guys it's injuries, they slow down. You guys, it's kind of a duo. You're not just changing your game, you're changing your style of play together. What was the biggest change towards the ends, let's say?
I think for us the main difference was that we realized that it's a long season. I think our first couple of years we managed to be good for 5 games, and then we dropped off because our conditioning wasn't kept up to the level that we needed to be, and so that's why you have all those dips throughout the season. So I think why I think we took off after a few years, that we managed to keep working out during the season, stay in shape during the season. So when March came, we were at our peak, and that takes a while, and it's not easy when you're young because you're so tired after games. It's mentally draining to play, and you need time off. So yeah. That's not easy to do, but I think it comes with experience.
Who was the most impressive player when you guys came in from Europe? Like you play in your country and you come here and you see guys like Lindros or Scott Stevens and guys like that. Who surprised you the most?
Yeah, I know I talked about that too. That was our first game, was Philly in Philly, and if you look at that game now, like we were boys playing against those like Hatcher and Lindros and those guys. It was a wake up call for sure, and that's when you realize that we had to get stronger and quicker and better at exactly everything.
That's a tough start in Philly.
Yeah, not easy.
A question I have for you: when you guys decided to retire, was it like a decision you've made together, or was there one of you guys that wanted to keep playing or a few more years?
Well, I think it was a decision between the two of us and our families, but I think we felt that last year that this was going to be our last year. So it didn't come down to the last week. It came down to, I think we felt it already in November that this might be it. And the longer the season went, I think we were both 110% ready to make the decision. So
it was never a question or a doubt that one of you would keep playing.
It's not at all. I think we talk a lot about different things, and that was obviously one thing we talked about a lot, and we both felt the same thing. Like, with the travel on the West Coast and being away from the families and also like not being able to play at the high level you want to play at. I think that was a part of the decision too.
What about the future? What's the big plan? I know you guys. I said it yesterday on TV. I was talking about you. You're good at everything, whatever it's ping pong, Scrabble, the games we were doing, hockey. What's next? What are you guys aiming for in the future? What's the ultimate goal?
We're big runners, so we've been doing a few marathons. So I think we're gonna keep doing that and see where that takes us. But other than that, I mean, we're happy to be back working with the Canucks.
Yeah.
We're gonna try to do that the best we can, and hopefully win a Stanley Cup with this organization.
So we don't have the same retirement plan. We're eating hot dogs there, gaining 50 pounds. You guys are running marathons. Okay, that explains a lot.
Do you have to run 42 kilometers beside, or?
No. I'm always ahead. Ahead.
That's awesome. You wanna step up with the little game before we let them go?
Rencontre, comment tu meeting?
Yeah, okay. We have a little game we play with everybody here in French, so we're going to translate. But it's 5 questions. Then you're off for a little afternoon run.
Awesome.
The most impressive person you have met in your life. Well, it could be an actor, a singer, somebody famous, just somebody that made you nervous.
There's a Swedish Swedish king.
Swedish king. Wow.
Didn't make me nervous, but I maybe the most famous person I met.
Did you get to visit him at the castle or just?
Yeah, exactly. Yes, we got to see his the whole royal family, and it was after we won the World Championships in Stockholm 2013. Wow. Yes.
That is unreal. That is unreal.
I'll say the Swedish Queen then.
It's a good choice, Danny.
Lappy, actually, the Swedish prince came to Vancouver to watch during the Stanley Cup run. He came to watch in the semifinal against when we played San Jose. He flew over just to watch one of our games. Yeah,
that's awesome. No chance he bought my jersey, right?
You might have. I don't
know. First drink. Where were you? How old were you the first time you had a little cocktail?
How can I remember this? I don't know. Like this is. I'm gonna say when we were probably late, like 17 maybe.
Nice.
Yeah, I would say so.
Together?
Can I ask you, Lappy? How old were you?
You'll be surprised. I was 18 my rookie night in junior. 17, no, 17, yeah. Rookie night in junior. I puked everywhere.
I respect that.
I don't believe you, but I respect that.
Okay, what are you scared of? 3 more questions. Like something that some people is spiders, some people is
snakes for sure.
Snakes.
And my daughter wants to get a snake, and I'm telling her, there's no way you're getting a snake.
Have you guys got it?
For me, it was flying. I was Lappy. I don't know if you remember.
We were both scared. I remember that.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. No, I could not stand. I would like. There were some games where I was like, if the weather was bad when I stepped into the ring to play the game away, and I knew we were gonna fly after the game, I would be like, that was the only thing I thought about during the game, how the fight would be afterwards. So that's, but I'm better now.
Biggest fight you guys had with, let's say, coach or whatever?
I don't think they look like they're fighting with coaches.
No, but sometimes you disagree and you go both together in the coach office, or.
Yeah, and we were mostly yelled at. We wouldn't yell back. But there was some tough. Like AV had some really tough meetings with us, like where he called us out for stuff that we did not do, and GMs as well. Like we were called up into the GM's office, and they would blame us for everything that went wrong with the team. So there was some tough meetings.
That's surprising to hear, honestly, with the way you guys were playing. Okay, last question. First job you guys had. Have you ever had a job, guys?
Oh yes, I was actually a canoe teacher in our hometown in the summer one year.
Wow.
Like teaching kids how to paddle canoes. Yeah,
that's the first one of the podcast. Danny.
Yeah, but I was there too. Like,
that's unbelievable. Oh, guys, that's awesome. Hey, honestly, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Big thank you, and see you soon in Vancouver. If ever I go back, I'll I'll text the
For
boys.
sure.
For
For
sure.
sure. And Lap, I gotta say though, like I know, me and Danny was successful, but the line with you, me, and Burr, that was a pretty good line there for a little
You
bit.
talk about that every day.
Can we?
Oh yeah,
I always say I had 10 points in my career, but I had 10 points in 5 games with with Henrik. That's pretty simple.
yeah, that was fun. No, you're a great teammate, Lappy. Great
That was
teammate.
awesome. Have a good
See
day,
you guys. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.